High schools in the Halton District School Board. How many are there and where are they? Let's get into it. So if you are new to Oakville, if you're coming to Oakville and moving to Oakville, maybe high schools is relevant for you. If you have school-age children and if they're in the high school level, school districts, catchment areas are always a really important question that people have. So let's get into it. So we're just going to address high schools in this video. In a future video, we're going to talk about elementary schools. But this is a list on the Halton District School Board website. It has a school directory. You can access this very easily. It's HDSB, the Halton District School Board. And we've got a list here of secondary schools and elementary schools. We're going to focus just on the schools for Oakville. So in this list here, being an Oakville veteran since 1987, I can pick these up pretty quickly here for you. So let's pick them out. We're just going to go through them and we're going to talk about them a little bit. Number one, up here at the top, is Abbey Park High School. Abbey Park High School is located in Glen Abbey. So if Glen Abbey is an area that you are considering to move to, this is where Abbey Park High School is. So this basically major intersection is 3rd Line and Upper Middle Road. There's a plaza over here. There's like a McDonald's, Scotiabank, Sobeys, Tim Hortons, nice little plaza here. But Abbey Park is located right over here. One cool thing here about Abbey Park is it's very close to the Glen Abbey Community Center. This is a very popular community center. It's got like lots of programming here, so people visit this pretty regularly. Lunchtime, a lot of the kids from high school come and hang out here sometimes at the community center. So that's at Abbey Park High School if you are moving into Glen Abbey, or if that's an area that is on your list. The next high school here, let's take a little gander here. So no, that's in Acton, Aldershot, Burlington, no. Garth Webb. Okay, Garth Webb Secondary School, that's next on the list. I'm going to pull it up here and show you where it's located. Webb Secondary School. So Garth Webb Secondary School is located in Westmount. So where is Westmount? Westmount is located in the kind of the northwest quadrant of Oakville, which is south of Dundas. So it's interesting to say the northwest quadrant because right now there's so much development north of Dundas. So let's call it the northwest quadrant of Oakville, south of Dundas. So Garth Webb High School, I want to say like newer, quote unquote. I've lost track of the years and how old Garth Webb is, but Garth Webb never used to be here. So if you look at the development of West Oak Trails and Westmount, a lot of the development was in the early 2000s. So, Garth Webb is probably around 20 years, maybe less, in terms of age. So with regards to like high school life, it's a relatively younger high school compared to, other high schools such as like, Oakville Trafalgar, which we'll touch on a little bit later on. So major intersections are Postmaster here and West Oak Trails Boulevard. So if we kind of zoom out here, where these neighborhoods basically are is Westmount over here, Westmount, and then West Oak Trails basically would be anything east of 3rd Line here. So there you go. That's Garth Webb High School located in Westmount in the northwest quadrant of Oakville, south of Dundas. Okay. So next on the list, let's take a peek. We've got Iroquois Ridge High School. So Iroquois Ridge, here we go. So Iroquois Ridge opened in 1994. I have to think there for a second. Getting my dates mixed up. Okay, Iroquois Ridge High School, here we go. Okay, so Iroquois Ridge High School is in kind of the northeast quadrant of Oakville, again, south of Dundas. So major intersections for Iroquois Ridge High School. Let's go with, there's a couple. Let's go with 8th Line and Glen Ashton. that would be kind of like the major intersection there. What's noteworthy about Iroquois Ridge High School is there's the Iroquois Ridge Community Center, which is right next door. When Iroquois Ridge was first built, the Iroquois Ridge Community Center did not exist. That was a later development that came. There's Iroquois Ridge High School over here, and this is the community center over here, which is going through a renovation right now. The pool is being renovated, but this is Iroquois Ridge High School, and Iroquois Ridge High School is located basically in the northeast quadrant of Oakville. So again, you would go to Iroquois Ridge High School if you lived in neighborhoods like Falgarwood, Wedgwood Creek, Joshua Creek, River Oaks. You could go to Iroquois Ridge High School as well if you lived in River Oaks. So those would be some of the neighborhoods that you would be eligible to go to Iroquois Ridge High School. Okay, so next one here on the list, let's take a look. It is Oakville Trafalgar High School. Okay, so OT, that's the nickname for Oakville Trafalgar High School, OT. That's what everyone calls it that went there. Let's do Oakville Trafalgar High School. Oakville High School. Okay. So Oakville Trafalgar High School, been there forever. You know, the, I guess, intersection, you know, probably like the major one is Wedgwood and Duncan. You know, Maple Grove and Devon. I want to say that's probably a better one, Maple Grove and Devon. So Oakville Trafalgar High School, kind of in the southeast quadrant of Oakville. Older high school, very, very long-standing, established high school. You can see the proximity to the lake. It's the OT Red Devils. That's their name. And yeah, it's been there forever. Oakville Trafalgar, and it's on Devon Road, so 1460 Devon Road. And again, if you're in southeast Oakville, that's where any high school age kids would go, to Oakville Trafalgar High School. Okay, so next on the list, we've got T.A. Blakelock. T.A. Blakelock is an interesting one. So let's take a look at T.A. Blakelock. T.A. Blakelock High School. Okay. So T.A. Blakelock High School. This one is basically, let's call it like, you know, South Oakville. Again, it's a southern high school, you know, closer to the lake. You know, enrollment now for T.A. Blakelock, the long story short is the immediate area has like aging population. So with regards to T.A. Blakelock, depending upon where you live in Oakville, maybe north of Dundas, you're eligible to come to T.A. Blakelock. So you really have to check, you know, with regards to the school board, you know, catchment areas and policies and that sort of thing. But typically, like if a high school has lesser enrollment, then obviously they want to draw from different neighborhoods. But again, T.A. Blakelock, long-standing high school. It's on Rebecca, very nice established area of Oakville, which sometimes people pass over, like with regards to all the new construction in Oakville, you know, north of Dundas. I have many conversations with people who don't even consider some of the older neighborhoods. And then once we get talking, once we start doing showings and people see the older neighborhoods versus the newer neighborhoods, a lot of people end up going for the older neighborhoods because mature areas, well-established areas, quality of construction is so much better with like older homes. So a lot of factors in that regard. So T.A. Blakelock, again, long-standing high school similar to Oakville Trafalgar, and it's off of Rebecca here, T.A. Blakelock High School. Okay, so we've got a few more. Actually, just one more. White Oaks Secondary High School. Let's take a look at White Oaks. Okay, let's take a peek at White Oaks. White Oaks. White Oaks Secondary High School. Okay, so White Oaks Secondary High School. That is it. That's a really bad picture. They need to improve that. So White Oaks is an interesting school. So back in the day, Nobody wanted to go to White Oaks. White Oaks had like just a bad rap. At the time when Iroquois Ridge was being built, a lot of the kids transferred over from the catchment area of White Oaks, and they went over to Northeast Oakville to go to Iroquois Ridge. But times have changed, right? Right now, current day, White Oaks is very sought after school. People are seeking it out. It's got the IB program, so it's a school that people want to be in the catchment area to go to this school. So White Oaks, interesting little tidbit here that not a lot of people know if you're not from Oakville, little Oakville history. So let's take a look if I can see it here on the map. I can't make it out here, but White Oaks has a North Campus and a South Campus. The North Campus used to be a school called General Wolfe. And at some point, something happened. I don't know the details, but General Wolfe left. And then that building became the North Campus for White Oaks, and then the South Campus here. So White Oaks has two distinct, separate buildings, which just goes to show you how big of a school it is in terms of enrollment. White Oaks has a pool as well too, which we don't see here, but just a little interesting tidbit that White Oaks does have a pool. And again, yeah, sought after school. People want to go to White Oaks, so which is good, because if we go back, I don't know how many years we go back here. If we go back 30 years, it was a school that people did, it was just not a good school. People didn't want to go to White Oaks, 30 years ago, but it's a completely different story now. Highly sought after school. So that's it in terms of high schools in Oakville. That's about it. So in a future video, we'll touch on the elementary schools, but there you have it. Those are the schools in Oakville that are high schools.